Right, let's keep things moving. That one is Fido with one title, Joy is Coming with Kiz Daniel. 13 minutes past 11 o'clock South African time. You're joining us from the SABC studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. That's where we're broadcasting from right here on Channel Africa. Today we're going back into this day that was yesterday, which was World Hearing Day. We're going to be examining the silent indicators of maybe there's something going wrong here. Maybe there's untreated hearing decline. Yeah, it's so easy for us to test different parts of our bodies, but really our hearing, sometimes we dismiss it, maybe we minimize it, maybe we just don't know what to look out for. Richard Mwangi is a consultant audiologist from Kenya who's going to help us in this conversation. Welcome on the show, Richard.
Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Where are you joining us from in Kenya?
I'm joining you from Nairobi, Kenya. We practice facilities called Doctors of Hearing.
Yes.
We have branches in Nairobi and satellite branches all over Kenya. And it's a pleasure to have this discussion with you because, it couldn't be coming a better time like this one because so much is happening to this world. Hearing problem is on increase, and hearing management, where we come in, balance assessment is also improving. So we could have this discussion today. It would be very good for our viewers, and it would be an interesting one because we'll be breaking it down point by point in a way that our viewers will understand and they'll be able to take care of their hearing by the time we are finishing this conversation. Thank you for having me here.
That's great. Thank you for allowing us to chat with you and making time for us here on Channel Africa. The silent and early signs of hearing loss are often easily dismissed, and it's because we don't really know what to measure our hearing with. How do we recognize our hearing in a better way or understand hearing in a way that we can see that, you know what, I think now there's something wrong here?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question. And you see, as it's the way you've said, it's a gradual and painless process, and many people tend to adapt without realizing that the hearing is changing with time. An early signs people often ignore is that you find that they are frequently asking people to raise their volume. It's as simple as that. You find that people are having a conversation, but some of the people, 2, 3 people having a conversation, but you find this person is not following, and they'll say, raise up your volume. Can you speak up? And whereas, the volume is enough for anyone else in that desk or table to understand. You'll find that they have quite an issue understanding a conversation in a restaurant where there is a background noise, because people who have got a hearing problem, they'll suffer so much where there is background noises. Understanding conversation become an issue. They can hear that is so-and-so talking to us, that is so-and-so addressing to us. But to get the clarity of the information becomes quite of a hectic. And also you find that these people get what we call listening fatigue, because they listen, they're not getting, they get frustrated. You'll also find that most of people will complain that they have got what you call ringing sound or a buzzing sound in the ear. We call it tinnitus. And then when they experience this one at least they come to our clinics. We have seen quite a number of our patients coming saying, "Oh, I have a ringing sound in the ear." When you check, the ear looks normal, but when you do the diagnostic assessment, you find that they've got a degree of the hearing problem, and then you start managing from that point. So you'll find people also trying to get away or avoiding social gathering, a situation where the conversation feels so stressful and they cannot be able to follow the conversation. So all this, together with people finding themselves isolating, they don't want to go to meetings, they don't want to go to churches, they don't want to go to mosques, they don't want to go to gatherings, because they know for sure that understanding such a kind of a situation will be so much of an issue to follow a conversation, because they're worried is that, yes, I may be present in this conversation. I know I'll not understand the conversation very well. What if somebody asks me a question? Will I be able to understand? So they'll find that it can be humiliating for them. But what you talk about is that when you have all these signs, when you have that You feel like you're withdrawing from conversation. You're finding that you cannot follow conversation in a restaurant. When you find that you're having what you call listening fatigue, that after being in an hour or in a meeting, you're getting so difficulties in understanding what others are saying, or you cannot even get the concept of what will be discussed. It is time to visit us and come in a hearing center so that we can start from history taking, assessment, and then also diagnostically managing the situation the way it's supposed to be done.
You know, Richard, I do hear at least once a year someone saying they're going to get an eye test, someone saying they're going to get their heart checked or, just a full body check. But I hardly ever, if ever, I've never heard anyone saying they're going for an ear or hearing test. And I think that is quite problematic. Maybe that's why it's important to have this conversation. Do you think that we don't pay as much attention to our hearing as we do our other body functions?
Your guess is as good as mine. And ask me why is because, see, in most cases, we sleep and wake up hearing. And that alone makes us forget that the sense of hearing really exists. You've had so many people going for annual eye check, they go for dental check, all those checks, even the heart. But for the hearing, you find that it is so much forgotten that people realize the benefits that they get from the hearing once they start diminishing, or once they start having the buzzing noise, or once they start finding listening fatigue. Hearing check should be done annually. Even if you have got a normal hearing, it should be an annual checkup. Why is this? Because remember when we started this conversation, we talked of a gradual, painless process. So you never know when this hearing issue starts. And then if it starts early, it is caught early, it's easy to manage. But then when you find, because in our cases, we find people coming at around 7 to 10 years of living the hearing problem, it becomes quite of an issue. Yes, we'll manage the much we can. But if this person was diagnosed early enough, it is such an easy, it's an easy management that can go in us. But when it takes long, just like any other ailment, it's quite challenging to each one of us in this practice. But all in all, it is manageable. So we agree and we say that hearing test should be done annually for each and every person so that at least it can be caught early enough.
All right, Richard, let's take a break. Stay with us on the line. We'll continue finding out about some of the common causes and risk factors of hearing loss and how we can, work on those, hopefully before, your hearing is lost completely. We'll continue this conversation with audiologist after the break.
Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Tamo
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The voice of the continent, now online, with all your sports fixtures, lifestyle, and more.
We're trying to understand the silent indicators that you might be losing your hearing. And, hearing is an important function. I think we all just think it's automatic, right? No, it's okay. As long as I can hear, everything is fine. But what happens if you start experiencing hearing loss? We continue this one with Richard Mwangi, who's a consultant audiologist joining us from Kenya. Richard, let's speak about some of the bigger signs that we need to pay more attention to our hearing. Can hearing loss be hereditary? Because sometimes I find that in one particular family, the elders in that family all can't hear, and everyone said, oh no, it's a family thing. Is that possible?
Yes, I missed the part of your question, but I try to believe that you asked whether the hearing problem can be hereditary or can be with
Correct.
the family?
Yes, can be
That's the
hereditary.
question?
Yes, that's the question.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question to ask. Because yes, one of the causes of the hearing problem is among the things that you ask is there any other member in your family who has got a hearing problem? And we end up finding that yes, quite you find that maybe you say my father, my mother, or maybe our grandmother or my brother has got a hearing problem. That's a very important questions to ask because we want to ask if there's any other member of the family who has got quite over hearing, all of them to come so that we can try to see whether they have a hearing problem or not. It is very important to note that asking whether the hearing is hereditary or whether there's a problem, hearing problem in the family, in the questions that we ask, is very, very important because it guides us on how the management should be done and also whether it's a family problem in that area.
Richard, I've also heard of dental hygiene, eye hygiene, body hygiene, but I've never heard of ear hygiene. Are there steps that we should be taking every day to preserve our hearing, on a constant basis? Richard, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's ear hygiene. And ear hygiene is very simple. Don't put things in your ear.
Okay.
And so many people ask me, and where are the Q-tips or the cotton buds? And I tell them, if you look at those cotton buds, the manufacturers also, they are very careful enough, and they have written just by the side there that they are not supposed to be inserted in the ear canal. The ear hygiene is very, very simple. Don't put anything to their ear. In fact, somebody some years back wrote that the smallest part of your body that should go inside your ear is your elbow. Of course, that is not possible. That's showing how it is, how impossible it is to put something inside the ear because elbow cannot go in. So it is practically telling you that don't put anything to your ear. If this works, let's an audiologist to have a look at it or the ENT surgeon to have a look at it and get cleaned. But it is not your work to clean your ear. The ear cleans itself.
Yeah.
The ear pushes out the wax. That's what you find when you're showering. You put your bathing towel, the face towel in your ear. It comes out with a bit of wax. But most people argue it must be a lot inside the ear, but that's not the case. It is just the ear doing its work of cleaning itself. It is as simple as that. Don't put anything to your ear.
So, Richard, when I come to an audiologist like you, and you check my hearing, what are you checking out for? What are you looking out for when you are actually with a patient?
Yes. I think I didn't get your question. The internet was a bit unstable. I don't know whether.
All right. I was just asking you just quickly to let us know, what are you looking out for the indicators to see if someone have had a problem with their hearing or if there's some hearing decline?
Now, it's a good question you ask. When a patient comes to us, and I'll pick a model of the ear. Can you see this model of the ear? You can see this, right?
Okay, I'm looking at the screen. I can see the model. Yeah, sure.
Yes. Yeah, I'll take you through. When you look into the ear, this is what we look through. We want to see whether there is wax impaction, this part of the ear. If the wax is impacted, we want to clean that. If there's no wax, we go ahead and try to assess this part of the ear. It's called the eardrum.
Which is the inner part of the ear, right?
No, this is the middle part of the ear.
Okay, middle part of the ear.
This is the eardrum, which comprises the eardrum and something we call ossicular chain. They are the smallest bone inside the ear, called malleus, incus, and stapes. We want to assess all those. This is the inner part of the ear, and this is where the hearing happens a lot. Now, this is the part that we want to diagnose whether how severe the hearing problem is. And when you're doing that, we have different tests for either children and also adults. So for adults,
what do they call that part of what sorry to interrupt you there. What do they call that part of the ear?
Yes. This part of the ear? This is cochlea.
Okay, sure. You can continue.
Okay. So this is the middle ear, malleus, incus, and stapes, and this is the cochlea, the inner part of the ear. Now, this is the part that we want to assess as much as possible so that we can be able to differentiate what type of a hearing loss we have, because there are different severity of the hearing problem, because hearing problem is not standard. I want to make that clear at this point, because we look at it, whether it's mild, whether it's moderate, moderately severe, or the worst case scenario where we say this person is profound or it's deaf. So we want to look at those different levels of the hearing problem. And then once we diagnose what level it is, we look for the intervention and how to manage the hearing problem. Most of the hearing problem, especially with affecting the inner part of the ear, which we call the cochlea, can be managed by the hearing aids. And today's hearing aids that we talked about is they're very small, intelligent devices. We keep on telling people it is not big and beige anymore. They are small, intelligent devices that are healthable and wearable devices. So they let you check your exercises that you are doing apart from the hearing. They let you monitor your heart rate. They let you monitor. It's a healthable device. So
Okay.
it is not all what was called a hearing device as an amplifier. It has changed from that to a healthable, wearable devices. So, and when it is becoming a profound deaf, and especially for children, we have to introduce something we call cochlear implants if the hearings are failed. So for somebody to get a hearing cochlear implant, especially children, is that they must have tried a hearing for about 3 months. And then if it didn't work, they have to do a cochlear implant, which is a surgical intervention, and then they can be helped from that point.
Well, Richard, you've given us the remedies. It was going to be my final question. Thank you for that. Richard, where can we find your consultancy in Nairobi? Let us know if someone is listening from Kenya.
So we have our facilities in Westlands, Nairobi. This is a building called Gallant, and we are called Doctors of Hearing. The other one is in Upper Hill, the building called Fifth Avenue. We're on 5th floor, also called Doctors of Hearing. In Mombasa, we have a satellite clinic in Nyali, and also in Diani, we have a satellite clinic in Diani. So you can easily get us with a customer care number, which is very simple, 0722112555, and you can get all your answers and all the booking done so that we're getting and taking of your well-being about the hearing impairment.
All right, Richard, we've run out of time. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving us that ear prop on our live stream and showing us how the ear works and how it gets infected. If you were not streaming, then you missed out that part of the display. But thank you so much, Richard, for giving us this understanding of hearing and how the ear works. That's Richard Mwangi, Consultant Audiologist, joining us from Nairobi, Kenya.